Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, how do I hide the thumbnail?
How do you hide what?
No, I have the thumbnails of people. It's annoying. Okay, so it's a short presentation I made based on some lecture in the missing semester course in MIT. Here you can see it. Um, so it's a very nice course, I think, talking about all sorts of things you never learn during your degree. And one is a lectures is about editors, specifically about Vim, and I like Vim, so I'll talk about it. Um, Vim is very old, and it's part of the Vim and Emacs wars. Every programmer has his editor of choice. Of course, we have Udi that likes Notepad++, but never mind. There are lots of jokes.
No one is perfect.
Yeah. Lots of memes in the internet about Vim and Emacs. I chose Vim, and I'll try to convince you at least that you should try using it.
Vim and GVim is the same, right?
Yes, GVim is Vim minus G, yeah, like the GUI version of Vim. Yeah, GVim is just a nicer.
And what's the difference between VI and Vim?
VI is an older editor, and Vim stands for VI improved. But nowadays, every Linux distribution comes with Vim, not VI. It's a no, not it's an important. It's not. It's an historical issue, no, not very important for us. Nowadays, everybody is using Vim. No one uses VI. So the philosophy of Vim. By the way, if you have any questions during the talk, please ask right away, and I'll try to answer it. I also have Vim open in the background. I will try to show online. So the philosophy of Vim is you spend most of your time reading and editing and not writing. That's why you most of the time you are not in editing mode. It's a little different than normal editors you might know that when you are always in edit mode. Vim has modes like normal mode and insert mode and command mode, but it takes time to get used to it. But I think it's very helpful. So it's modal editor. It's called modal because it has different modes. It's programmable, but most people don't care about it. It avoids the use of the mouse because it's too slow. For if you don't know it and you are used to use your mouse, this sounds stupid, but the fact that you have to move your hand from the keyboard to the mouse and back to the keyboard wastes time. It's amazing how faster you can edit and move if you don't use a mouse. It also tries to avoid the arrow keys because it requires too much movement. So basically your hands should be in the center of the keyboard where the letters are, and moving your hands to the arrow keys also takes time. And so you have like in gaming you have a WASD for playing, so you have H, J, K, and L for moving in Vim, and the end result is an editor that can match the speed at which you think. I like it because it also makes you think. When you're using a normal editor like Notepad++ or whatever, you basically have one way to do each thing. But with Vim, you have multiple ways to do it, and even when you're doing boring stuff, Vim lets you how to say it. You can think how to do the boring
Optimize.
stuff. Yeah, how to optimize your work, even when you're doing something you don't want to do. So you always think in the background, how can I make it better? What key to press next? It has a very steep learning curve, but once you're over it, you have the sliding down fun. So model editing, it's maybe the most frustrating part of Vim. You have basically 3 modes. You have more than that, but you need to know these 3. So normal mode is for moving around and making edits. And by edits, I don't mean typing words. I mean like copying stuff from place to place, deleting, and so on. You have insert mode where you actually type letters and what you type goes in. And you have command mode in which your cursor moves down the bottom line, and then you can do all sorts of cool stuff. So these are the 3 basic modes and how you move from one to the other. You start in normal mode. Basically, when you start Vim or GVim, you get to normal mode. If you want to insert text, you press I. If you want to go back to normal, you press escape. If you want to move from normal to command, you use a colon. And when you finish the command and press enter, you go back to normal. Of course, if you don't want to execute the command, you can always press escape and it will escape the command. So this is another meme about Vim. I've been using Vim for about 2 years now, mostly because I can't figure out how to exit it. That's the first frustration people have when getting to Vim. So let's start with how to quit. Colon Q will quit Vim. W will save. W is short for write file. WQ will save and quit. Q with
Bang.
with bang. How do you call it? But when
Exclamation
in English,
point.
yeah, Q bang will quit without saving, because if you try to quit and you have unsaved changes, it will not let you quit. It will ask you, do you want to save it? To open a file, you use E. E is for edit. And you can always write help and some topic you want help about, or a command you use, like you can have help colon E, it will show you help about the E command, about opening file. So let's move to Vim for a moment.
Tzachi, I think you can also do X is WQ.
Access.
X. Colon X, I think, is the same as WQ. Short.
Ah, okay. In Vim, you can do everything in multiple ways. So here I have a Vim on my Windows machine, but it looks very similar on a Linux machine. And when you just open it, you get a screen like that. So if I want to go to insert mode, you can see my cursor is now a block cursor. If I move to, by the way, do you see the pop-ups on the right of my key presses?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, so now I've moved to insert mode. I can now write, type, and if I press escape, I go back to normal mode. Another interesting thing about Vim is that this edit is one command. The entering of hello world is is an entity. And now if I will undo it, if I press U, you see it deleted the whole edit. So in normal editors, when you undo, it will undo your key presses. So if you type hello world and you want to undo it, you will have to undo like 9 times, 10 times. In Vim, every edit is and every action is counted as one. So you get used to writing things and then escaping. Like I will write always at postage clock, A gets B, escape. Now I will think what's next I want to do, and then if I will want to undo it, I will just undo it, like say assign B equals A. Oh, that's stupid. I'll undo it, and that's it. I mean, an action is some thought you had, and usually you want to undo the whole line. If you just want to delete the last word or the last character, you will use backspace. If I use colon, I will. You see the cursor goes down, and now I can save it. Write my file.txt and enter. Ah. Oh, I'm in. Okay, it's non-writable area. File.txt. Okay, let's open also some file for an example. Just oh, I opened a different Vim. One moment. Vim.
Just sure it will not take 2 years.
What?
Just
What did you say?
make sure it will not take you 2 years.
Okay. I already quit it twice. So, okay. Okay, so movement, Vim don't want you to use the arrow keys. So you have the HJKL in the middle of in the middle row. And you use H and L for left and right. So H is left and L is right. That's simple. And J and K are down and up. And the way to remember it, because they are on the same row, is that J points downwards. So J takes you down and K goes up. Everybody suggests using this. I didn't manage to get rid of using the keys, but I believe this can save a lot of time. So let's just go. So you see if I press J multiple times, I go down, K, L, and H. Search. If I want to search, you use a slash sign and then write some regular expression. Like let's say I want to go to all my functions here. So I'll do def space star brackets. Yes, and then with n and with small n, you go forward, and with big N, you go backwards. Another cool thing is the star. The star searches for the word under the cursor. So let's say I get to P names. I'm on P names, and I want to see where else this is used. So I don't. With normal editors, you double click it, copy, find, or something like that. Here, you just press star, and it takes you to the next occurrence. Specifically, this is not very important, interesting, but here. That's how you search. Now words. Well, here, so you don't have to move left and right using only LH, J, and K. You can jump words. So if I'm on temp, if I press W, it takes me to the next word. Just makes things a little easier. B will take me back, and E will take me to the end of the word. 0 will take me to the beginning of the line, and $sign will take me to the end. We'll see why this is nice. If I want to go to the beginning of the file, I'll press GG, and capital G will take me to the end of the file. If I want to go to line number X, I use colon and then the number. Usually when I use, this is not the VIM I use. My VIM is set up such that I see the line numbers. I suggest you do it too. So if you set a number, you see the line number, then you can, let's say I want to go to line 732. So I just do colon 732 and it takes me there. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't use the arrow keys if you don't have arrow keys. I have the arrow keys, so I still use them. But if you can, try avoiding them. Visual mode. It's like the selection in the normal editors. You have three modes of visual selection. You have character-wise selection with a small v. So let's say I'm here and I start moving. It's really like a Windows selection. I can also have a capital V for line-wise selection. So, oops. So I don't want to, I know I want to copy all this function. So there's no reason to go here. They go down and go to the end of the line, right? I know I'm working on line, so if I use capital V, it just takes me, it will select the whole line, no matter where in the line I am. And finally, I have a control V, which is blockwise selection. It looks a little like rectangular selection, but it's not really rectangular. So let's say I can take this selection and let's say I want to replace it with stars. Not very helpful, but if you see, even when I go out of the line, you see, so on 7 to 8, the selection does the line ends before the selection, so it doesn't select it. Or if I go here, you see the line 724 has no code on it, so it doesn't select it. Why it's nice? Let's say here is a Python. Here is, in Python we don't use semicolons, but let's say I want to add a semicolon at the end of each line. I can press $, and as you see, it selects. It goes on each line to the end of the line, and then I can add add semicolon, for example. And you see, it doesn't add it in a straight line. It adds it in at the end of each line, as you would do normally. Lastly, if I had some
Tzachi, if you're already showing that, probably the best thing to show is how to comment out a block.
Okay, later. I can. Okay, let's see. You mean with this method? Okay. So let's say I want to comment out this block, so I can Control V. What just happened? go to the beginning of the line and insert backslash, actually it's Python, so insert pound sign. I can also, if I go like this, I can go to the first character of the, what have I done? Never mind. Oh, it's something in my Vim. Never mind. Buffer, let's skip this. It's not very important. Some advanced, it's not really advanced Vim. You can learn Vim your whole life, the millions of commands in Vim. But let's see this. So we have search and replace. Let's say, press escape all the time. So let's say I want to replace all the occurrences of self, let's say, with Tzachi. So I can write self, Tzachi, G. And now if I search for self, there is no self, and there are lots of Tzachi in the text. Of course, if I undo it, it's undo all the changes at once. I can use regex, which is a topic for another lecture, but you should definitely learn regex. So let's think what can I replace here, something meaningful. So let's say I want to replace all the functions to func. Now you see all my funcs are called func.
Tzachi, why do you use colon instead of a slash?
It's just a habit. You can use whichever separator you want. So whichever separator you use after the S is the separator of the command. So you type the function, the text to be searched, and then the replacement. And finally, I use G. I think Roman talked about it in his talk, right, Roman? So G will replace all the occurrences in the line, not only the first one.
I'm not sure about that.
I think
You mentioned it.
G.
You mentioned it.
You mentioned it. You talked about G
You mean,
instead.
but I was thinking it's more, I don't know if it, usually every editor has its own small changes, no?
Yes, but there are some regular expression conventions that are commonly used, like the /G. It's global, so it does it more than once. Usually regular expressions only match the first occurrence, and when you do the G, it matches all occurrences.
By the way, I'm sorry for asking, but I recently used some MATLAB, and I noticed that you can do this parentheses, question mark, equals, and then prefix and postfix. Is it also a normal regex syntax? Maybe one of you knows.
What is the question?
Is what I described a normal regex syntax, or it's a MATLAB specific?
Say again.
When you do open parentheses, type question mark equals something, then type your expression, close parentheses, and you say it's a prefix.
Yes,
and you
yes.
can do.
Yes,
it's
find
also,
it before. Yes, yes.
So,
I
for
don't know what
example,
that is.
Regular expression. What do you mean?
Will
What
it work
you
also
ask?
here, for example?
I'm not
Yes,
sure
yes,
of that.
yes.
What's that one?
Maybe maybe
Yes, you
Tzachi will
find-
show.
So let's say you want. Let's say you want let's just search for it. Like this. Let's search it. I don't remember this exact. Regex graphics. No, you don't mean prefix. You mean like what exactly do you want to do?
Match a pattern. I can give you the syntax if you want. I know it.
No, let's say, well, what do you want? Let's component. What do you want to search exactly? And
Okay, let's say the line that you are pointing on, let's search for the word global.
okay, so global. That's good.
Roman.
But I mean, okay, it doesn't matter.
No,
Tzachi,
explain to us because this is interesting. Okay,
So,
let's
Tzachi,
continue
I
because
could-
it's.
I could have, let's say I want to replace the global part, but keep the symbols before it the same. So I could look for something and then global and replace it with
/1, how is it done?
yeah.
yeah, /1.
So here is global. So it will
No,
remove
but Tzachi,
everything.
didn't you have to register the dot star and keep it like /1? Here is.
Okay, the question is what you want to do.
Yeah.
Here I will remove everything that is in front of global. I select all this, right? You see the selection as you type. So it will match all this and will replace it with here is and global because this is what I found in the parentheses.
Is this what you were talking about, Roman?
No, but I think it's also
Because this
useful.
is actually done very differently in different Vim.
No, this wasn't
In different regex. In different regex, like in Python and in Vim and in C shell and stuff, it's always done differently. So you have to really look it up for each or play around. Like the
Yeah,
/1, sometimes it's $1. It actually drives me nuts.
Yes, I will.
I never remember what it's
Actually,
called when I search for it.
So you both answered my question, but it wasn't the original question. But I got my answer. Combining you and Tzachi, I understand what it means.
Okay, if you have something specific you want to do, just ask me. I will show. Let's go to macros, which is very cool, I think. So what did I? Okay, so you can type Q and character and then lots of other characters and then Q. This records a macro. So let's say I want, I don't know, I don't have an idea right now. Let's say I want to add brackets. So I press Q and I press 2. So I call the macro 2. We'll see in a moment. Now I want to add brackets. So I go to insert mode, add opening brackets, escape, go back to normal, go to the end of the word, add brackets, escape, and go to the next word. And that's my macro. Now, using, how do you call it, strudel? At sign, I can do it again. So if I do @2, it does it again. See, I just, and now if I use num @2, I can do it multiple times. So let's say I do 50 @2. Oops, it happened a lot of time. So it's very nice for a repetitive task you have to do where you know how to do it line by line, but you don't know how to do it with a regular expression or something like that. That's it, I think. So yeah, so one does not simply learn Vim. Vim is very, very hard for beginners. It has a steep learning curve. And usually if you have something you have to finish by the end of the day or by the end of the week, I wouldn't recommend you start using Vim for that because it will slow you down, obviously. But if you have some non-urgent tasks, using Vim is very, very nice. And once you master it, you never master Vim. You can always learn new things, but once you get hold of it, it is very nice. It makes you work much faster and much smarter. Some resources for Vim. So first of all, Google. When you think there must be a better way to do something, there probably is. You type your question in Google, and someone already asked it in Stack Overflow or something. There's a cool game called VIM Adventures, an online game written by an Israeli. The first few levels are free, and then you have to pay if you want to continue. I once I was fired from PMC Sierra and had for 4 months I had to stay there doing nothing. So I actually paid for this, and that's how I learned Vim. Very nice game. It's really, really fun. And there's a book called Practical Vim available online, and it is also very nice. It's written as a short tips, so you can read a tip a day. You don't have to read it in any certain order. You can just look at the contents and select what looks interesting to you. I read many tips from there, and it's really cool. That's it. And one day I hope at least one of you will be like that. Now, if anybody has questions or something you want me to show, I can show you if you have some.
Tzachi, copy pasting with also registers and stuff.
Okay. Actually, I didn't have in the presentation copy and paste. That's stupid. It's not my fault. It's based on the course. So copy and pasting is done with not the Windows Control C, Control V. And if you have this in your VimRC, please remove it. So let's say I want to copy a line. So if I'm here on this line and I press YY, I just copy the line. Y stands for yank. I have no idea what is yank.
Yank is to pull.
Yeah, okay, but I only know this word from copying in Vim. And P for paste. So if I now press P, I paste it in. If I want to copy a part of the line, I can use a visual mode. So let's say I want to copy this. I selected it. Now I press Y. And now when I will paste it, it will paste it in the line. It's a text mode, right? If I copy a line, a full line, it will paste it in a different line. But if I copy just a part of the line, it will paste it like every other normal editor.
I saw you use Shift P. Why Shift P and not regular P?
Okay, so P will insert it after the word. So let's do it again. Visual. Actually, let's say some. I want to copy to the column, excluding the column. So I do V T column.
What's
Just
T
happen
for?
2. But what
Ah.
what have I done? V T column. I don't know what have I done earlier. So T is search forward to this character. There are many ways to move around, but once you know them, you can't unknow them. So now I yank it. If I will paste it with a regular P, you see my cursor is on L. So it will paste it on the right side, and I will get LN. But if I will paste it with a capital P, it will paste it before. Same thing when copying a line. So let's say I copied this line, and let's go somewhere you can see it. So if I use regular P, it will paste it under, and if I use capital P, it will paste it before.
Now I can also put my yank into one of the keys on the keyboard, right?
Yes. So you can. I have a little blackout. Oh, what have I done? What? I have a blackout. What is like that? Why is it doing this? I have a blackout about it.
It says you do something with P.
P is for paste.
Yeah, but wait a second.
What?
I'm searching it on Google in the meantime.
Really strange. I use it all the time.
Press V, press P to select the P register, and Y to yank into it.
V? No, I never use
You
it.
do V, then you select the key you want to yank into, and then Y. And if you do :reg, it will show you all the registers.
Oh, okay. So you use a how do you call it? Gershaim.
Quotes.
Yeah.
Quotations.
Quote.
Quotation.
Yes. So let's say I want to copy this one to register 1.
Ah, quotes. Okay, I didn't understand that. I think it was saying quotes.
To register 2, and now I can paste register 1 and register 2. So you can have multiple like clipboards. Can have many clipboards. It's the same for the macros I showed you earlier. So you can have multiple macros. You press Q and some character, and it is saved to this register. So you can have multiple macros. I usually use 2 because to replay the macro, you use the @ which is under the 2. It's the same key, so it's much faster.
Maybe show VimRC.
Okay, so VimRC is a startup script. I will show it in the So on your home directory, you have some script runs on a Vim startup. So you all have it. I don't want to go over it.
But if you want to make like a macro, you can save it here, right?
Yes, if you want to use a macro, I have all sort of settings here, like escape. So if like this, for example, if I search something in a Vim and I want it to disappear, don't want to see the how do you call it?
Highlight.
The highlight. I just press escape twice and it releases all sorts of commands here. Let's leave it.
Tzachi, on the wiki, there's a page about VimRC. Maybe you should go and update it.
Okay. Basically, many people I talk to just copy my VimRC from my home directory and
yeah, but they don't have read access to it probably.
No, they have.
Okay.
I have a question. What if you have a column of numbers, let's say 8 numbers of, I mean, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, okay?
Column?
Yes, 1. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And you don't want to have this whole column of ones. You want to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have this long column. I mean, can you change this?
So Control A will increase it by 1. So I can do like this. For a short numbers, it's easy.
Okay.
But you can use the macros, right? Let's say I had 1. So I can do, I can record a macro. I yank the word, I copy it, and then no, I wanted to do it line-wise. Okay, so let's start again. I record a macro, I copy it and paste it below. And increase it by 1. And finish. Now, if I do this macro 10 times macro 2. Oops.
Oh, that's nice.
And if I do it 100 times, it's like this. So you can do many cool tricks with macros. You have to be sure that your keystrokes are doing what you want it to do, and you also want your cursor to finish at the right line, right? So you want the next macro to start at the right position.
Okay. Got it.
Tzachi, what about automatic Verilog stuff?
It's not Vim. I don't think it's related. I can show it. Let's look. Okay, let's Verilog.vim. Let's open a new file. Let's say I have a module and Verilog is annoying because I have to write the ports here and also below. So there is some plugin called Auto Emacs specifically, where I can put the variables here, and then what does happen? Okay, I don't know why. Oh, probably because I saved it in the wrong place. But you see, I just write input and output here, and it completed the port list here. And then
it's in a way built in a system Verilog where you can write a star.
Yes.
And yeah, this is a little bit dangerous, this auto stuff.
No, but it's Verilog. It's pure Verilog. You save it like this. You
Yeah,
can read it,
but,
and then now let's say I have another module that instantiates A, so I can auto instantiate it. So let's say I have A1 auto inst and A2 auto inst. And if I write it again, it connects Y to Y and X to X. That's not very helpful. So I can add a regular expression. So I want to tell it A auto auto template. I want you to connect Y to clock. And then you see it connects Y to both, to clock in both. If I move it down here, it will connect only in the second one. And of course, you can do all sorts of regular expressions. So X and Y is a little, let's say I have some prefix XI and YO, and I don't like this I and O stuff. I can tell it, just take everything that starts or ends with O and connect it without this prefix, without this postfix. Now you see it connected YO and XI to Y and X. You cannot do all sorts of cool stuff with this too. But this is not Vim, it is a plugin of Vim, which is actually a plugin of Emacs, which Vim also can use. Anything else?
I think it's worth mentioning, maybe nothing to do with this, that different commands, if you write the line numbers, then it will apply them to the line numbers and a line number range and so forth.
Yeah, so like I did before with a search and replace. So I use the percentage sign. This is for doing it on all the lines of the file. But let's say I want to do the replace only here, so I can select it, press colon, and it adds this visual selection part. Now I can, if I do an S command like search and replace, I can replace every, say, Y with Y. So it only did it in this area, but not anywhere else.
Another thing is buffers and how to move between different files and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about it. It's a little advanced. So okay, but if you mention it, so I have a slide on it.
Buffers are good.
So buffers, where is it? So Vim has three entities: buffers, windows, and tabs. Buffer is Vim's name for files. So when you open a file, you open a buffer. A window is the view where you see the file. So usually you have one buffer opened in one window, but you can have multiple windows showing the same buffer. So for example, if I do a split, let's go here. If I do a vertical split, I see the same file. Okay, this is a little small file, so it doesn't make. Okay, so now I see the same file on both windows. So this is a window, and in both windows I see the same buffer. So if I will delete here, you see the change is here. So it's the same file, it's the same buffer. So these are buffers. The file is a buffer, and the window is the view. So I can see different parts of the buffer in each window. And on top of this, you have tabs, which is not what you see here. It's actually what you see here. So you can have tabs which show you different views. So you have like here a split two windows, and another tab you can show you something entirely different. I hate tabs. I think it's stupid. Buffers and windows is good enough, if you ask me.
But how do we move between them?
And as you can see, I have a plugin that shows me the buffers I have in the top row. So in my VimRC, I can control page up, control page down to move between them. And you use Control W to move between windows. So if I do Control W left, I move to the left window. If I Control W, and so on. You can continue splitting. So I can split this window horizontally, and this again vertically until you cannot see anything. You want to die. Yeah, but and you can still move around, but it's annoying. You usually don't want more than 2 or maximum 3 windows on your screen. That's it. Anything? Anybody? Questions?
Maybe I would add that it's not just Vim, it's also, for example, Emacs, and so what you explained now, it's more of a general.
It's general, but it's very unnatural to most people. They talk about buffers and views and windows and tabs. It's very confusing.
Yes, but it's not only Vim specific, and it's not Tzachi showed something that it's only for Vim users. It's something that you will meet also in other places. That's what I'm trying to say.
Don't use Emacs.
Go tell Slava.
No, didn't say this.
Yes, Slava will give you a talk about Emacs.
Anybody, any other questions or things about VI? About Vim?
Did you show a quick way to switch between to swap essentially the tabs?
So yeah, so I have a control page up, page down. It's not between tabs. I don't use tabs. Usually I have a plugin that shows the buffers on the top row here. And so I can use this to move from one to another like this. But if I know the buffer number, so let's say I want to go to buffer 13. So I don't have to press control and page down. I can call on B13 and we'll take me there immediately.
Tzachi, is there a way to know, a quick way to know which buffers are saved and which are not, something like this?
So yes, you can see the red ones have changes with no. You see the fpga.make, VimRC, and the Verilog. So 13, 14, and 15 have unsaved changes using this plugin, Minibuff Explorer. You can also see your buffers if you do ls. It will show you the list of buffers, but I don't like it really. And you can see here's a plus sign for 13, 14, and 15. You can see all sorts of other information here, but I don't know when to use it, really. With this buffer explorer, you see everything you need, I think.
Tzachi, how did you add the plugin that shows you all the buffers?
The plugin is called Minibuff Explorer. You can, if you go to my VimRC, you can see
You defined it in the Vim RC file?
Yes.
Okay.
So you, one moment, why don't I see it? So here I have a plugin. I have the Vandal plugin, which handles other plugins. But basically, the plugin is called Minibuff Explorer. And you go there, it has explanation on how to install it. And down here, you can see my settings for the colors of the tabs of the buffer tags, and for the control page up, control page down stuff. Like I have control delete. So let's say I want to close one file. So let's say I want to close this buffer 11. So I control delete, just close it. You see, I have no 11 now. It's very nice. Almost anything you can think of you want. Someone wrote a plugin for it. Let's undo my VMRC. Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? Great. Thank you, Tzachi. That was great.